I've brought up my blouse pieces and I've separated them into sections. Anytime you get that white elasticy thing, just touch the screen and it will stop. So I've separated it, so I've got my sleeve. It's the one that I've called sleeve 1. Then the blouse front with the facing extension added, the back neck facing, and the back bodice, and it says back fullness. Then I have all of my basic pieces over here and my maps, and I have my princess line pieces, 4 of them, and then the sleeve that has 1-inch ease all together in a row. And I'm going to take those pieces out and put them in a specific jacket model. So File, Create Edit Model. I'm going to start by adding pieces to a new model, and I'm going to call that one Louise Jacket. And then I'll add all of the pieces and say OK, and there they are in Louise Jacket. So now that they're in a different model, I'm going to remove them from the model I have. File, Create Edit Model, Remove Pieces. I'm choosing the blouse, say OK, and then I'll, so I'm looking at what their names are, because apparently I can't just do that. Center front princess, side front princess, side back, center back, and sleeve with 1-inch ease. So File, Create Edit Model, Remove Pieces from the blouse, OK, and holding down the Control key, and I'm looking for the sleeve with 1-inch fullness, and it must be on another page. OK, 1-inch of ease. So release the button and say OK. So now I have a shorter list. And just to check that and see how they work before I change anything, I'm going to open another section. Do you see how I have 2 tabs at the top up here? I'm going to go up to File and click on the blue tab and say New, and it opened up Work Area 3. So I can say File, Open, well, I haven't saved my models, so I've saved them, but it isn't recognizing the change because I haven't logged out over here. Sorry about that. So I'm going to cancel. I haven't changed any of my pieces, I've just changed the models. So I'm going to close just this tab, and it will say I have 2 unsaved pieces and 2 unsaved models. I don't remember changing the other one, but I'm going to say Save and Close. And overwrite. And now I have my original one, and I can close that because it doesn't recognize any changes. So now that new area that I opened, I can open the new models now. Oh, but they went in a different place because I was not. Okay, so Louise, jacket. So there are my jacket pieces in their new model. And file open, oh, cancel. File new. And then file open blouse. And those are all of my blouse pieces. And I kind of want to separate those three into their own space. So these are my basics now, really. And this is my blouse. So I'm going to call this one my blouse with collar and sleeves. And then we'll start adding it. So File, Create Edit Model, Add Pieces, so I've given it a long name, but that's okay. Blouse with collar and sleeves. Say OK, and I'm just going to choose all of those pieces and say OK. So I now have another model with those in it. And I'm going to remove them from the other one like I did before. And did I look to see what they were called? I'd like it a lot better if we could just touch that. Okay, front with facing, back fullness, sleeve with minimum fullness, and back neck facing. Okay. I want the original one to take these out of. So blouse with facing, hold down the control key, the back neck facing, and minimum fullness. Yep, those are the ones. So I can close this now and save the models. And now I'm back to my jacket with my sleeve. And I'm going to leave that one for the next one, and we'll go back to the blouse. And we'll continue our jacket in another episode. And I'm going to file open my blouse with collar and sleeves. So I have a blouse. If I'm just going to have a blouse that's tucked in with fullness, then I don't need that back dart. I do need this shoulder dart, but I can do multi-dispersion like we did in beginning patterning. We've already done our sleeve, but I want to delete this line, so I'm going to delete this dart and that line that's too long. Modify, delete line. And dart. Your waist is here. We aren't really going to need to know that. Just say okay. And then I can save those two pieces because they're different. So we're going to do two more things to this. Our sleeve is finished. Our back neck facing is finished. It's identical to the back except that we trimmed off that extra little bit right there. But the neck shape is identical like it's supposed to be. So I'm going to set the sleeve and the facing aside and just change these two pieces. They're all set up to match. The sleeve should fit. The dart is ready, but I want to turn this back dart into a multi-dispersion dart. So that means I want to get rid of a third of this. So I'm going to create a line that goes between the two. And I should have gone the other way, but it might be nice to me. Verify line length. Oh, and we can't read that, so I need to go in and change the color. Edit, customize. Annotation isn't working. I'm not going to like that, am I? Oh, well, it works. Okay, so except, well, 0.435 divided by 3. So if I open my calculator, 0.435 divided by 3 is 0.145. Sorry about that. If I have the microphone down next to my mouth, you hear all those little noises, and if I move it up a little bit, then you get to listen to me breathe. So, okay, 0.145. Create multiple points on a line. So I could do it by measuring it, but I'm just going to add 2 points equally distant. So I've chosen the line. I want it to go from end to end. The beginning isn't going to get any points. Neither is the end. So I'll say OK. The number of points in between start and end, I want 2. So now I have 2 equally distant points there just for convenience, so I can see how it ends up. So if you want to look up what a multi-dispersion dart is before we do it, it's in your book that we used in beginning pattern making, and just look up multi-dispersion darts in the chapter. So I'm going to just do this simply, and I'm going to create 2 lines, one kind of from the middle of the neck to the end of this dart, and another one coming straight over to the armhole. And it doesn't really matter where. And then I'm going to go to Advanced, Manipulate, select the dart to rotate. Rotation point location is the end. The hold line, I'm going to use the center back. My new opening point is going to be where that line is, just so I can see it happen. No internal lines are moving, so I say okay. Well, I didn't follow all the directions, did I? I moved the whole dart there, and that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to undo and come back up to darts, manipulate, but I'm going to distribute rotate. Distribute rotate. So the dart that I'm going to rotate is this one. The rotation point is the same. The hold line is the same. The new opening point is on that line. And then I'm going to type in the percentage. So I'm going to put in 33, and then I have to put in the percent sign and say okay. No internal lines are moving, so I say okay again. And I'm going to because it's a multi-dispersion dart and I'm not going to sew it, I'm just going to leave it like that. So you can see that it came over to the line. So I didn't need to draw those lines. When you get a job and you're comfortable with the program and you're working somewhere, you don't have to preliminary draw the lines on. That's just so we can see what happened. So a third of that moved over to the neck area. And it's not a dart that's going to be sewn, it's extra ease that's going to be controlled by another seam. In this case, it will be the back neck facing. In this case, it will be the front shoulder, and over here it will be the sleeve. So we're rotating the same dart again in the same area. The rotation point is the end again. The hold line is always the center back unless the dart is going into the center back, and the new opening point is right where that line is. 33, and then the percent sign. If you don't type in percent, it will try to move 33 inches. No internal line, so I say okay, and I'm just going to leave it there at the end. And this one looks bigger, but the percentage of the dart that's moved. Oh, well, I know what I did. I said 33% of the dart that was there, and I had to have said 50 because 33% only works on the first one. So I'm going to undo, and this time I'm going to say 50% because it's the percentage of the whole dart that's left over. So advanced darts, manipulate, distribute rotate, select the dart to rotate, rotation point location, hold line, opening point, 50%. All right. So that actually looks correct. It ended up right where the marks were, and I didn't touch the line quite in the same place, but that's what I want. So I'm going to say okay, and because I'm just converting this to ease, I don't want to close my dart end, so I'm going to change them from darts into just this seam line. So I'm just going to delete the end point. So modify delete point, and I'm going to come down and find the end point and delete it. It's gone. Gone. And then I'll delete those two lines. Delete line. And I also Don't want that line. And usually we want this line to be a straight line, but not this time. It's pushed out a little bit because it's got the extra e's in there, and so we can't delete that. I'm going to delete the one that's tilting inward and leave the outermost one. So I have to combine all of those points, but I have to merge the end point first. Modify line, combine. Anytime I say merge, you just know that that's because that's what the command used to be, and I mean combine. And now I'm going to delete that other little point. Well, I'll turn it on so you can see it. View, intermediate points, touch the piece, and you can see that there are 2 intermediate points on that line, and I only want one. So modify, delete point, that one. So now I have a smooth curve with a single point on the line, and I can turn I wanted to turn them off, and there must be a way to turn them off. Oh. Well, no, I don't, because I still need to see that. So right here, rather than, I guess I could delete points along there, but I would rather just draw a nice curve of my own. So it's a little lower than this one and a little higher than that one. And instead of doing all of the splitting and everything, I'm just going to do move single point. So modify single point, and I'm going to move this one up a tiny bit. And if I were using Tech pattern system, that's the easiest way to move a line. In Gerber, I often prefer to just use that curved line. But that blended it out. I'm just going to move that one a little bit. Okay, and then I'll delete that line. Delete line. And I missed the middle section, so there we go. Yes, you have to open it and then close it again to get rid of them. And yet here they are here. Okay, so I've smoothed that out, that, and now they're all just a little bit too big. But the sleeve is going to control the armhole. This back neck facing, is going to control the neck, so that means if you were to sew that in, you would line that up and you'd line that up, and you would ease it and put the larger section under the feed dogs, and it would just pull that in, and the back neck facing would be our control piece. And it looks like I just made a line there. And then the shoulder is going to be the same thing. Modify, set, rotate. Make sure that you align neck to neck. So now instead of being identical, there's a little bit of ease on the back, and you'll do the same thing. Put your pin here, and you pin there when you're sewing it, and just go ahead and ease the back into the front. That's why I say that anytime you've got ease, it's controlled somewhere. So we'll save those pieces. I don't think we made that line, and I think I accidentally just put it there. That's the grain line. Well, that's weird. Because that is usually parallel to the grain line. Okay. Modify line, set, rotate. Center back. It's too close to the other piece. Well, that's interesting. I've never used that command before, and it didn't work the way I expected it to. But that's not what we need to do anyway. So, piece, realign, realign grain, select the line to realign, and the grain line is correct. It really should be on the fold. And what did I do to my annotation? See, this is why Edit annotation. Select the annotation, say OK, rotate, fix it, say OK. All right. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to realign this piece. File, save. Okay. So I've saved the pieces, and when we come back, we'll make a collar for the blouse, and then the blouse will be finished.